Good day everyone, welcome back to this channel. Several times I've received this question about the new NMBI online application and registration system. Some people said they're finding it very difficult to use the portal, so I've made a video just to explain to you guys how you can use that portal without making any mistakes. So in this video I'm going to be explaining to you how to use the new NMBI online application and registration portal. From the 28th of September 2020, the new online portal known as My NMBI went live. So that is what is being used at the moment. NMBI is no longer using paper-based applications. They've now moved online due to COVID things. After all, applicant and registrant records have been transferred to My NMBI. So that is what you're going to be using if you want to start your registration with NMBI. I'll try my best as much as possible in this video to explain what you need to know. Now, how to use the new NMBI online application portal. First, before you start your application, once you know that you have your house results and you meet up with the requirements for the NMBI and you have your nursing degree and other qualifications that you want to use for your application, you need to go to you need to visit nmbi.ie. Once you visit that website, select registration. I'm showing that on your screen. Follow the blue arrow and you see what you need to do. Select registration because your home page is going to look like that. After selecting registration, then scroll up a bit and you see four types of guides, four types of user guides that can help you as you start your application process. What you need to download is the first one, applicant user guide. Then you need to read it before making your application. Download the applicant user guide, and the next thing you need to do, scroll back up a bit and you click on the go to My NMBI to log in or set up an account. That's the orange banner that is showing on your screen. If you follow the blue arrow, go to My NMBI to log in or set up an account for the first time. Click on that, then it should redirect you to my.nmbi.ie. that is the new portal for application and registration for nurses in general. So your window should show something like this. The information below, the information that is being shown on your screen, if you follow the blue arrow, just on the bottom of the login, you see having difficulties logging in, please click here. So you need to click on that because as you're just starting, you don't have login details yet, so you need username and password. So before you can get that, go to having difficulties logging in, please click here. Click on that blue line. I just zoomed it so you can see it very well on your screen. Then you should see something like this: welcome to Nursing and Midwifery Board of Ireland. And if you're having difficulties logging in, please follow the following instructions. Now you go into option 3 if you never applied to the NMBI for registration and you are now starting the application process for the first time. Please create a new account. So you need to click on that shown by the blue arrow. You need to click on that, create a new account. So once you click on that, it will redirect you to a page like this. You see the registration form for the portal. This registration form is just to get you your login credentials that you can use to log in to the new portal for your application. So registration, you put your first name, your last name, email, and you select a password that you want to use for your application. Then you click on, make sure you select I'm not a robot. Then you click on register. So once you click on register, you receive your login credentials by email. It will be sent to your account, to your email account. So you need to check your spam folder, you need to check your inbox, and make sure you receive login credentials from NMBI. You do not need to create a new account if you have already commenced a paper-based application with the NMBI before the new system went live. Some people already started. Note that I said at the start that this new portal only went live on the 28th of September this year. So some people have already started the paper-based application, so they don't need to create a new account again. Just know that, because some people ask, I'm in the middle of a qualification registration or registration application, how am I going to complete this process now? So what you need to do is just to keep on sending your documents by paper, by post. Keep on sending them by post since you started with your paper document. Then later on, NMBI will update your record and migrate you to the new portal. They will send you those details via email as well. So what do you need to know? The NMBI application process, especially using the new portal, is in 2 stages. It's in 2 steps. The first step is your recognition of qualifications, and the second step is the final registration. That's placement on the register. So firstly, your qualifications need to be recognized by the NMBI, and the next one, finally, you have to be placed on the register. So it's a 2-step process. So what you need to do is, with your login credentials that you've received via email, visit mynmbi.ie and fill in your details, then click on login. Now you have your credentials, so you need to fill in those details, then log in. After logging in, I want you to know that you will answer a series of questions just to allow NMBI to classify your application, and you'll be informed of what documents you need to submit. It's always good at the start to check your eligibility after login. In the portal, once you log in, select registration services, then you select overseas recognition. I'll show you on the next screen. So once you log in, you should see something like this. You can see the green highlight. Select registration services. That's it. There's a drop down arrow. Then you click on overseas registration recognition, just to know if you are eligible or not, because the different people, they have different qualifications from different locations, despite the fact that they are African nurses. That's why you need to check your eligibility. It's very, very important. Next thing you need to know is, if the portal says you are eligible to apply, that doesn't mean that your qualifications are eligible for immediate recognition. Immediate recognition means you don't need to do aptitude test, you don't need to do adaptation or anything like that. NMBI just accepts your qualifications and immediately you are put on the register. So eligibility to apply means that NMBI will still have to review your relevant documentation to determine if you can be placed on the register of NMBI. Next thing you need to do then, if you are eligible to apply, proceed with your application within the same portal. Note that you've already logged into the portal, so in your account details, firstly you need to fill in your personal details. That's the very step 1. It's going to ask you different questions. I'm showing that on your screen. It will ask you different questions about your personal details. So once you fill them in, your name, your gender, your place of birth, contact address, nationality, date of birth, surname, and everything like that. So once you fill that in, the next step is to answer some questions. The portal automatically will be asking you a series of questions that will classify your application and determine if you are eligible to apply. I want you to note that at this stage, payment is not required at this initial stage. Step 1 and step 2, you don't need to pay yet. So you'll be answering a series of questions to determine your eligibility. At the end of the step, you will know, firstly, if you are eligible to apply. Secondly, the type of your application. If it is, I want you to know that there are 3 groups of applicants: Group 1, Group 2, or Group 3. So by the time you finish answering those questions, you know what your group is. If you are a Group 1, Group 2, or Group 3, I'll be explaining that in more details. The documents, and you also understand the documents you need to submit as well on the portal. You should see something like this. If you see, check the green highlights, it says recognition. You should see something like recognition. So that's where it's going to be asking you a series of questions to prove that you are eligible. It's always good to know your group before you begin your application. Group 1 applicants means that these applications are classified under the automatic recognition pathway. I will explain that in details as well. Group 2 means applications classified under the general systems pathway. And Group 3, non-directive applicants. These are applicants with applications coming outside of the European Union, so overseas nurses who have never lived in the European Union, who didn't study or practice in the European Union. They are Group 3. So definitely you know that African nurses, they fall under Group 3, especially African nurses who didn't study abroad or who didn't practice outside their country, their home country. Group 1 and Group 2 applicants, they are EU directive applicants. They should meet one of the 4 personal status criteria. I'm just explaining this, I'm not going to dwell on them because we are actually going to Group 3. For Group 1 and Group 2 applicants, they should meet one of the following. Firstly, I'm an EU or EEA member state national. That's for citizens of EU nationals. A family member of an EU member state national, or a person who has been granted refugee or subsidiary protection status in Ireland, or a family member of a person granted refugee status. So that's for Group 1 and Group 2 applicants, they have to meet one of those criteria. Next thing, especially, we've seen the personal status criteria, and these are the qualifications criteria for Group 1. So for someone to be classified as a Group 1 applicant, the person must be applying to the General Nursing or Midwifery Division of the Register, and the person must be qualified in the EU or EEA country as well, and the person must have a significant experience in EU related country as well, especially 2 out of 5 consecutive years of professional experience, and like that. For Group 2 applicants, Group 2 also fall under EU directives as well. A Group 2 applicant is qualified in an EU or EEA country and is applying to or any division that is not general nursing or midwifery. So I'm not going to be dwelling on Group 1 and Group 3. Overseas nurses generally outside the European Union or EEA, they are classified as Group 3 applicants. The EU personal status criteria do not apply to me. So if you want to know if you are Group 3 or not, all the criteria listed below, the 4 criteria, shouldn't apply to you. So for someone to be classified as a Group 3 applicant, you are not an EU or EEA member state national. You are not a citizen of any EU related country, and you are not a family member of an EU or EEA member state national, and you've not been granted refugee status or anything like that, and you're not a family member of a person granted refugee or subsidiary protection status as well. So I want you to know that Group 3 refers to overseas nurses generally from outside the European Union. So it means you haven't qualified as a nurse or midwife in any European Union state. It means you haven't worked for 3 years previously in an EU related country as well. It also means that all your nursing or midwifery qualifications were attained in your home country or outside the European Union member state. And it means you hold an undergraduate nursing or midwifery qualification with a minimum of 3 years of training on a full-time basis. So it's either you have you did full-time general nursing or you did full-time general midwifery. 3 years training on a full-time basis, and specifically you must hold an unrestricted registration license to practice. That is very, very important. So that the previous one, that's option 1 for group 3 members, and the option 2, it's that you attend your nursing or midwifery qualifications in the last 5 years, or you've practiced as a nurse or midwife for 12 months in the last 5 years. And I want you to know that if you hold any of the following qualifications: state enrolled nurse, state certified nurse, licensed practical nurse, vocational nurse, nurse's aide, or nurse, anything like that, you also need to study general nursing or general midwifery, whatever postgraduate degree you have. So for you to be recognized as group 3, for you to be eligible, you need, sorry, now I'm just checking. So you need to hold unrestricted license to practice. Yeah. So now if you do not meet, if you don't meet option 1 or 2 of the group 3 qualification criteria, you are not eligible to apply. That's what the new online system is going to let you know. So I'm going to show you again. This is option 1 for overseas nurses. If you meet all the 3 listed here under option 1, then you are eligible to apply. Option 2, otherwise, you have to meet, sorry now. So otherwise, you have to meet up with the option 2 as well. Now I want you to know, if you do not meet option 1 or 2 of the group 3 qualification, you are not eligible to apply. Now the NMBI qualification recognition process, this is just a summary of the process. So firstly, the applicant needs to log into my NMBI with your login credentials. Then you fill the personal details page. That's the step 1. The step 2, you need to answer a series of questions to allow for your classification. As an African nurse, you've never traveled out of your country to practice as a nurse, and you didn't study outside your own country or something like that, you fall under group 3. That's outside the EU or outside the EEA classification. So a list of required documents is going to be presented in my NMBI for you to upload, something like your transcripts of training, something like verification letter from your board, from your nursing board in your country, and other things that you need to do as well. So the list of documents will be presented to you. There's a different list for group 1, there's another list for group 2, there's a different list for group 3. Now you need to submit the required documents. So once you submit the required documents, then you personally check if everything you've submitted is correct and accurate. Then that is the point where you pay the fee, recognition fee. That's 350 euros. So you pay the recognition fee for your documents to be assessed. Then the NMBI qualification recognition process, next thing after payment, there is on the left hand side of the portal, after you've logged in the my application section, your application will appear. That's after your application has progressed through the qualification recognition process, then the status of your application is going to be updated in real time, so you know what's happening to your application and what you need to do next. So it's until you've started the process and it's gone through with your documents uploaded, that's when your my application section is going to be updated live in real time. And next thing is that all your documents will be reviewed. The documents you've submitted, they'll be reviewed to make sure they are correct, valid and authentic. An ID check is going to be performed on you. Specifically for group 3 applicants, you need to pay you undergo an administrative assessment and qualification assessment as well. Group 1 is immediate recognition, so they don't need any qualification assessment. They just immediately they are placed on the register, so they don't need to pass through any other stress involved in that. NMBI qualification recognition process is that the next thing, an email is going to be sent with the results of your assessment. So the results will be in 3 forms. Firstly, qualifications are provisionally recognized. That means your qualifications have been recognized. Secondly, the first result is often for group 1 applicants and their qualifications are provisionally recognized. But the other one is successful completion of a compensation measure is needed. That's group 2 and 3 applicants only. So I'm going to show you what the compensation measure is in the next time. I'm going to be explaining that. I'll show you that. And the last outcome could be that qualifications recognition provisionally refused. If you watch my previous videos, I've explained the video that I said NMBI step 5 decision process. So 5 outcomes of the NMBI assessment, what they could be. And I've explained the reasons why some applications are refused by the NMBI as well. So for group 3 applicants, oftentimes the outcome is always compensation measure is needed. So it's either the applicants accept the decision sent by email or refuse it. Now, for translating any document, that's if your document was not any of your documents was not written in English. For example, your birth certificate is not in English, you need to send a certified copy of your birth certificate and a certified English translation of your cert in writing, including the translator's professional contact details, telephone address and email address as well. So you need to translate your documents in English by a qualified translator. You need to sign and stamp it as well, and it should be dated before it could be accepted. Compensation measures. Now, if the outcome of your qualification recognition says you need to do any of the compensation measures, it's either the NMBI wants you to undertake a period of adaptation or undertake the aptitude test. I've explained these two in 2 different videos on YouTube. The adaptation and what to expect in the adaptation, I've explained that as well, and the test and things you see on the day of your test and everything about the test I've also explained in another video on YouTube. If you go on my channel, on my name, and then you click on videos, you see all the videos I've uploaded recently. So if you're applying to any division other than general nursing, note that if you are not going to apply as RN, almost everyone that comes to Ireland have to start with RN. So if you're not starting with that, you want to apply for midwifery, or that's a registered midwife, or you want to apply for pediatric nurse, psychiatric nurse, intellectual disability nurse, public health nurse, or nurse tutor, or anything like that, you don't need to do the aptitude test. So you only need to undertake a period of adaptation. So oftentimes RNs they have opportunities to for work, for employment in different facilities. But someone that applies for just midwifery registration, you have to be waiting until there's a vacant post for midwives in a particular institution. But if you start as RN and then had your other qualifications later on, then you have a higher chance of getting employment on time. Now, the process and timelines, I just want you to know, if you follow the blue arrow, you see G3, that's group 3. So for recognition decision on your qualifications, the process takes about 3 months. It takes about 3 months. That's just 3 months. So after that, that's actually done when you're at home. Then later you need to book your visa. My requirement for Irish employment visa, I've uploaded that on YouTube as well in a video. Then you need to come to Ireland to do the compensation measures. It's either you do the aptitude test or you do adaptation. So eventually, when you are ready for that, when you have successfully completed everything, your registration decision is going to take 20 days. You need to log back in and then fill in the requirements and submit your documents on my NMBI. Then it takes another 20 days, approximately 4 months in processing for group 3 applicants. Now, fees to pay overseas nurses, group 3. Initially, for your application and qualification recognition, you need to pay €350. Eventually, for your final registration, that's your placement on the register, if you pass your aptitude test successfully or if you complete your adaptation successfully, then you need to pay €145 for placement on the NMBI register for nurses and midwives in Ireland. Now, the NMBI application process, this is just an overview. I've talked about 2 main steps. Firstly, your qualifications as an overseas nurse have to be recognized, and then you need to do the registration properly. So you start with the recognition of qualifications first, with getting your login credentials, answering some questions, uploading the details, and then you need to do the registration. So this is an overview of the recognition process. You log into your account, you set up your account, then you answer questions, and to classify your application, your application is going to be G3 if you answer all the questions correctly. The list of required documents will be presented to you that you need to upload. After uploading them, then if you require any translation, you need to do that as well, and you pay the fee, which is €350. Then your NMBI is going to review your application and email you the recognition outcome within the space of 3 months. Sometimes it's less than that. It depends on the volume of applications at the moment. And then you need to now undertake the final registration. So you need to log back into your account. That's after you've successfully completed your adaptation or aptitude test. Sometimes it depends if group 1 applicants or group 2 applicants, they don't need adaptation, they don't need aptitude test. So the processing for them takes it doesn't take quite long. It doesn't take as long as for group 3 applicants. So the list of required documents will be presented to you again, the ones you need to submit, and this is where you provide your evidence of English language competence, your health results, and your application is going to be reviewed again, and then you'll be placed and you pay the fee, which is €145, and then you'll be placed on the register. So I want to appreciate everyone for joining me in this video. I hope I've been able to answer some people's questions. If you still have any queries or questions, please feel free to post them in the comments section below, and I'll try my possible best to answer everyone. If I know it's going to be too complicated, I will answer your question in an upcoming video. So thank you for watching. I want you to like this video. I want you to invite your friends to subscribe and share the video as well. Thank you so much, everyone. See you in the next video. Bye.